Just wanted to talk about women's sports. Kind of wanted to talk about it last week, getting ready for the WNBA All-Star game, but it's probably better that we waited until after anyway. I don't know if you watched the WNBA All-Star game.
This is news to me. I did not even know.
Yeah, so that's kind of the problem with women's sports, isn't it? It's like nobody knows it's happening.
Right.
Except for the cities with women's sports teams. Basketball, the WNBA has kind of crept more into the national consciousness with Caitlin Clark and the sports media trying to really hammer this Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry, whatever drama.
Okay.
So WNBA is kind of like getting more national press. But there's a National Women's Soccer League, doesn't really get talked about. Doesn't really, get a lot of play on the air. National Women's Hockey League.
The PWHL.
The PWHL.
Yeah.
There is a softball league that MLB is kind of helping to push, but it's really just a glorified traveling tournament because it's four teams.
Okay.
And so it's basically like round robining all year in different cities.
Yeah. Kind of tough to have a league and have like interesting competition with four teams.
Yeah.
And that's one of the pieces with the PWHL. I like that they, for like historic sake, it's kind of fun that they started with 6 teams. I think that's probably all that league could support anyways. Like, cause they folded I think it was called the National Women's Hockey League.
Yeah.
They folded that league. Just as they were starting to get like broadcast stuff figured out. Cause I was starting to watch some of those games and they were like, yeah, we're folding this league. And then they took like a little hiatus and then revealed, they're announcing this new thing. And I think Billie Jean King was a part of like starting it, which is really awesome. And so they started it with 6 teams on purpose to like, the original 6 from the NHL, that sort of thing, even though it's like the original 6 is like the original 6 that remained after there was like 10 teams when it started. But anyways, so that's kind of interesting, but it's like, it does get like, you're just playing the same teams over and over and over. Like there's only so many games. It kind of limits how many games you can play in a season because it gets a little old seeing the same couple teams play against each other the whole time,
Yeah. And WNBA's expanded. So they're basically, I think, like as many teams as the NBA.
WNBA has probably been the most successful.
Excuse me. I think they've been the most successful women's sports league. But they've still got a ways to go in gaining sort of mainstream status, I guess. I don't know how to say it without sounding sexist or whatever, which is part of the problem. I mean,
right. Yeah.
Like I think there's a huge like girls aren't supposed to be good at sports mentality. It's not good. The competition's not good. And admittedly, I used to be one of those people, like, they're not that good. It's
you're
kind of
canceled.
boring,
You just got canceled.
I got canceled. And, and I grew up also, in the era of Bob and Tom on the radio and Howard Stern. So, women are objects in a certain niche of the world. And so when women's sports were first starting out, I think that was a big part of the problem too, was that they weren't supposed to do this unless they were good to look at as well.
Okay.
So
I was going to say that
is
kind
she
of
hot?
The logic,
are they playing in bikinis? That would be,
right.
like I would go watch that game if, You know,
it's like, so whatever they did with the Super Bowl with like Victoria's Secret,
the lingerie,
like,
the lingerie
are you guys
bowl.
doing? This is so strange.
Yeah. So I think we as a society have to get past that, like the cultural ideologies that say like women aren't supposed to be good at sports, they're not supposed to play sports, they're only supposed to be pretty for us to look at, and you know, whatever. So I'm admittedly trying to become more like women's sports supportive.
Yeah.
And so like with the WNBA, like just trying to watch a little bit, you know, here and there.
Doesn't Caitlin Clark play for the Indiana?
She plays
team?
for the Fever, yeah, but I don't like Caitlin Clark.
I
think she's kind of
you're a hater.
I picked Angel Reese in that rivalry.
Okay.
I think Angel's prettier and she's got a better game.
You just did
the thing that I'm trying not to, but
come on, but you can't fight nature.
You know, you can't. But I think
canceled again.
One thing that I have noticed in soccer in England, with the Premier League, each club also has a women's team that's associated with it. Yeah, directly really associated with that club.
Yeah, very, very
so they have access to, you know, some of the same training,
right?
Same nutrition, all that kind of stuff.
Very cool setup, yeah.
And so I think when the WNBA started, they tried to do some of that, where like a lot of the teams were based in the same cities as the NBA, some of the NBA teams. But I don't know that they got access to the same equipment, the same training staffs, the same nutritionists, all of that kind of thing. And so it's taken a little while for them to kind of get hold. I think too, the WNBA has kind of been cannibalized by the NBA because they're doing the summer league thing. You know, they just started doing the summer league thing with the men. So it's like no sooner than the NBA finals are over, the WNBA season's supposed to be starting, you know, kicking off and in full swing. And then all of a sudden we're like supposed to tune into this men's summer league thing. Like, you guys are killing your own product. Because the NBA and WNBA are basically run by the same organization. Women's soccer in America has always been better than men's soccer.
Oh my
gosh. America.
Yeah.
Like I've long
far and away.
I've long said that our women's national team could probably beat our men's national team, and it wouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
Our men are just like, I don't know if they're afraid to play soccer, if they don't know what they're doing, like. But our women's national team has always been really good. Women's soccer in general has been good in America. They just don't get TV. They don't get press.
Right.
You know, they'll be on ESPN3 at, you know, midnight or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think like one of the reasons why do they not gain traction? Like one of the reasons I wanted to talk about is like, what do you think? Do you think they've gained traction? Why do you think they don't gain traction if you don't think they have?
I think it's starting to a little bit. I think especially like I remember whenever it was the Olympics or the World Cup a few years ago, like 10 years ago, close to 10 years ago, when the women's team won gold, and all the pay controversy, like pay equality and all that kind of stuff came out. It was like, okay, there was a lot more attention paid to it. There were also some, I think it was also like, there's like Abby Wambach, Hope Solo, like there were kind of these people that you could latch on to as like celebrity star athletes too, which I think is a piece of it. I think that's part of what the draw is in any sport, where you have like somebody that you can go, okay, like I'm going to at least follow this athlete or, you know, watch the matches that they're in or whatever. So I think that's a part of it. And I saw, you started seeing those individuals like being in Visa commercials or whatever, those kinds of endorsement deals and stuff where you're seeing them like around more. I feel like it kind of dipped off a little bit. But I think we're starting to see a little bit of more intentional effort into it now, like especially with the PWHL. Like I follow hockey way more than any other sport. But I do think WNBA is making a push. Like I was just looking up Detroit. This is a disgrace, but the Shock won. They won the WNBA championship in 2008, I think it says here. And then they moved after 2000, like in 2010, they were in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What happened here? So we'll have to get into that at some point. But it's like, even winning successful teams are not getting like strong fan base, whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but to me, it all comes down to like with sports, I feel like it's twofold. It's how are you drawing in new fans and keeping them to live events? I feel like that's the best way to build a fan base, is to get fans in your building and create an entertaining event. It does not matter if your team sucks. Nobody cares. If they can afford to get into the game and the value proposition feels worth the time and the money they spent to come, go pay for parking, paying for the concessions, like spending the time in traffic there and back. If it feels worthwhile as an event, not win or lose, getting blown out, whatever, it does not matter. If it's fun, people are going to come. Like the Predators, the Nashville Predators are a great example of this. They were not a good hockey team.
Yeah.
They were an expansion franchise in 92, something like that. 98, I think.
Yeah.
They're not very good. They don't have like star athletes. They're not, there's not a deep history there. It's not a like traditionally hockey market or anything like that. But they put on a show. When you went to Bridgestone, one, it's downtown on Broadway. You're literally across the street from honky tonks. You can hear the live music as you're walking into the arena. It's a fun atmosphere. Two, they capitalized on the culture and just the nature of Nashville itself as like a party, country music, just kind of that whole thing. And the whole event, it was less hockey specific and more like we're throwing t-shirts in every intermission. We're playing funny videos in every intermission. We've got all of these different cheers and stuff where it felt like this communal vibe. And it was also very easy to become a part of that community with those certain cheers and stuff like that everybody's doing. Like at the end of every intermission, it's like there's 1 minute of play left in the period. And the PA announcer's name is Paul. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. And so all of these things, and then fang fingers when the other team gets a penalty. Like,
yeah,
those are all fun. I'm a diehard Red Wings fan. If I went to a Predators game, I'm doing fan thing.
yeah.
So fang fingers.
Vegas did the same thing with the VGK. They made it entertaining outside of hockey. So even if and I can't imagine too many people did know a whole hell of a lot about hockey.
Right. You're in the desert.
But you made it the hottest ticket in town. It's been sold out for, since its inception. Like you can't buy tickets without going through the resale market. And I don't think women's sports is there partly because of the arenas they're playing in too. They're not playing in big arenas with all the bells and whistles.
The amenities,
or they are,
and then it's half
but all
empty,
seats are
and
empty,
it feels dead,
and it feels dead.
Yeah.
But I think what was I gonna say with that? I think the PWHL has the broadcast thing. They put all their games on YouTube. They stream them on YouTube Live.
Yes.
I think that is a brilliant way to get people to watch, because
make it accessible.
I've been on YouTube, late at night, and sometimes I'll be honest, like I can't watch a whole PWHL game just because of the time it's on or whatever. But I've been on, and it's like it comes up in my feed, says PWHL is streaming, and I'll tune in and watch, whatever's left of that period, or large portion of a game or whatever. But yeah, accessibility. WNBA, with being on ESPN for the most part, if you do not have cable, you can't watch WNBA. If you don't have cable, you can't watch women's professional soccer, because I think they're on like one of ESPN or Fox or whatever. Accessibility is huge. To your point about the value proposition, it's expensive to go to some of these games.
It's insane.
And I'll be honest, even a men's, professional sports game, like
it's not worth it.
I don't want to spend $100, $200 on a ticket
per ticket,
and then I've got to get to the arena, get food and drinks at the arena, it's just the value's going downhill in sports in general.
Yeah. And it's like, for what reason too? Because you've got games where they're not sold out and you're still selling tickets for $150 in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're shutting out. This is a big thing that's happened with Toronto, the Maple Leafs, where you don't see very many. I mean, there's obviously fans there with jerseys on and stuff like that, but there's always talk about the people that are on the camera when they're showing, the crowd in the lower bowl are wearing like suits and stuff. It's people who are wealthy people who can afford these tickets that are going to these games, and you have shut out basically. Like, it's a quick way to burn out your like recurring fan base, where like a parent can take their kids to the game and afford to do that, and the kids sold for life. Like, you do that one time. I went to one hockey game. They happened to score 8 goals, and I'm a fan for life. Like, I've bought jerseys, I've bought tickets, I'm
yeah.
And so it's like it drives me nuts that they don't. But it's all short-term gain. It's all this like Wall Street mentality where it's like, how much money can we make this season? How much money can we bring in this particular game? And they don't care about the long-term, like developing a fan base, treating the fans with respect, and treating the fans as like what the team really is. Like, and so it's very frustrating. One of the things I do love, the PWHL streaming games on YouTube. The other thing I love that they've done is, because they only have 6 teams, they're traveling to other hockey cities. Like, they did a game in Detroit last year where they had 2 of the other teams come in and play a game, and the game sold out. Like, you're getting 20,000 fans to go see a game of 2 teams that are not from this city. That's how you're building the sport in general.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really good, and this is when the teams didn't have logos. Like, so that's like a brilliant move for them to kind of like take this show on the road and build the sport like from the ground up. But like you said, like also having the broadcast where it's accessible and it's not so hard to just watch a game. Like, make it easy for me in the era of like every bit of media being spoon fed to me and being accessible on 5 different platforms. Like, make it easy for me to watch this.
Yeah, I think intentionality was something that came up too. I think you said intentionality, and I kind of alluded to it too. I think we have to be more intentional about giving women's sports a chance and
For sure.
buying into the platform. Especially as our society has sort of shifted to where we're viewing gender as less stereotypical gender roles and more okay, so we just have different chromosomes, whatever, the way that we express ourselves or whatever. Women and men can do the same things.
Yeah.
Is a woman going to bench 500 pounds? I don't know. It could theoretically happen. Do I want to see that? Probably not. Do I want to see a guy bench 500 pounds? Not really. Like
that was my next question.
I mean, I think intentionality, and I'm trying to get more intentional. Like this winter, I'll probably watch some more PWHL.
For sure.
On purpose, not just like, oh, it's there, actually tune in. Maybe I actually looked into going to the WNBA All-Star game.
Oh, nice.
But like you said, tickets, it was like $100, I think it was like $120 for tickets up in the nosebleeds. And it's like, yeah, I want to support. I want to put my money where my mouth is, but I don't have that kind of extra money after I just went out and spent $300 on a steak dinner. So
we see where your priorities are.
I had my priorities this past week, but
the women of the Moranville household and not the women of the WNBA. Okay.
Yeah. I just hope that one day we get to a point though where women's sports can kind of pave their own path, and be not have to be compared to the men's sports.
Right.
Because I think that's a big problem too, is the comparisons. And because of that, then they can't play in the same, like WNBA, they have to play in the summer. They can't play in the winter, like the men.
What? I was going to bring that up too. I think, honestly, I feel like they do better if they didn't play in the off season, because you kind of get a little bit of carryover effect. It's like having like your little mom and pop shop in the same shopping plaza as like a Walmart. Like, yeah, most people are like going into that plaza to go to Walmart, but like they spot your little shop and they're like, all right, let's check this out. Let's see what's going on. You know what I mean? As opposed to like putting yours across town. I'm going to go as far away from Walmart as possible. Now you're out in like some side road somewhere. Nobody ever goes by. Like nobody's coming to make a destination trip to your store because they don't know about you. Like there's something to the effect of like having the season be concurrent with the men's league in that same sport where you're going to get a little bit of the spillover. Like, oh, hey, by the way, and having announcers during the games in the men's, in the NHL talk about what's happening in the PWHL. Like those are easy talking points that those people can say. And your market, the people you're talking to are already watching hockey. They enjoy watching hockey. Oh, now I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I'm going to go watch more of this sport. But it's women playing it. Like, okay, like I'm interested. I'm going to go watch more hockey. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's another barrier. Another thing I was thinking of too is like when I've watched some, this isn't just women's sports, but it's just kind of like different leagues in general. Part of it is the broadcast quality. Like the announcers themselves don't like, you're not getting like the experience that you get at like the main 4 big pro leagues. And even some of those announcers suck, but you're not getting I'm a Jim Nance lover. So Let's just put that on the record. But you're not getting the situations where like the play-by-play and the color commentary are creating this drama. You know what I mean? Like you need a little bit of that when you're watching a sports event. You need the storylines. You need the excitement in the voice as a play is developing and happening, especially when you're newer to watching a sport, or newer to watching a specific league where you don't know these players as well. Like if I'm watching two hockey teams I don't watch a whole lot, like in the Western Conference or something, I don't necessarily know all of the players and who's doing what and stuff. And so it's helpful to have an announcer who's, you know, kind of on the fly talking about the play that's happening, but also talking about like background of, oh, this player's doing something like they don't usually do, or, oh, watch out, this player usually, you know, he's got a sick backhand or whatever. Like those kinds of things also play into the excitement of watching it and add to the draw, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, the broadcast quality is not there. You know, it's kind of like with soccer in general in America. You know, the broadcast quality is not there. There's no effort put in to make it better. So I think, you know, I think women's sports are coming up. I just think that we have to make more of a conscious effort to be there for it.